It's 19 hours Central African time. Welcome to the ZNBC main news. A quick look at stories making headlines in the news tonight. Energy Minister Matthew Nkua has disclosed that 22% of imported fuel in the country is smuggled. Lusaka Mayor Makebi Zulu has accused the opposition UPND of being sponsored by foreign dissidents to frustrate the ongoing constitutional reforms. Water levels at the Victoria Falls in Livingston this morning started showing signs of increasing. And in sports, Zanaco Football Club has played out to a 1-1 draw against the RS Berkane of Morocco in their third game of the CAF Confederations Cup group stage. Thank you for joining us. I'm Patsy Nahankanga and Loveness Chupa with the details. Energy Minister Matthew Nkua has disclosed that 22% of imported fuel in the country is smuggled. Mr. Nkua has since urged security personnel to be on high alert. He says this activity is robbing government of huge sums of revenue, which can be channeled to other needy areas. Mr. Nkua said this when he graced the Petroleum Transporters Association of Zambia second Come Together party in Dola. Meanwhile, Mr. Nkua, who is Chingola Member of Parliament, warned officers at his ministry that are issuing investment licenses to foreign transporters in the fuel subsector to stop. And PTAZ Secretary General Benson Tembo appealed to government to come up with a statutory instrument that will compel all the contracted suppliers to prioritize Zambian transporters in the transportation of imported fuel.
I'm trying to register them into Zambia. If there are any hearing officers within my office, we will deal with them. We have a serious problem of people smuggling fuel. About 22% of the fuel is smuggled, and 22% of 1.5 billion. It's a lot of money. So we want you to be vigilant, because these people that are smuggling fuel, they are people that are going to take away the business. The people that are doing illegal things are the people that are going to take away money that the government is supposed to aid. The capacity has been shown. What we expect from the Department of Petroleum is to call a meeting with all the 8 contracted government suppliers and compel them to use Zambian transporters.
Our government has called for the participation of chiefs in the enforcement of the fish ban on rivers and lakes across the country. Fisheries and Livestock Minister Nkandu Luo says seasonal fish bans will not yield any positive results if chiefs are not involved. Professor Luo said this when she addressed the 17 chiefs in Samfya district of Lopula province. Here's a report.
Shawama twabundako bakwe batisa likasitation ikabwere mana Yesu ngana mukwatako umusango ombi uwesabi ilio abana besu bengateka ukufuma pali ilisa bilya na elotikas dimbi ilinga kula bwangu mu makwebo.
These are concerns from the custodians of natural resources and those who benefit from them. All these chiefs share and are concerned about 2 issues: the depletion of fish and management of the fishery. Concerted efforts with traditional leaders is key to restore the wealth of Luapula province that lies in the fisheries sector.
If we should yes as government, the cheaper, can nobody have an so that if we got to Alanda, I believe if you want them to work, the chiefs must be involved. And there is no program Munomu Zambia is to succeed without chiefs working along with us.
Ukufuma hapo kuyafika kule kumalini na ngukulia kuchitaloji ama boti yonse bakula babika po na machene kabiri na paliana po bakula filiafili bashinguluko mumana wonse nishimwa isalo mumana.
Fish is not supposed to be a depleting asset. It is a multiplying asset. We all have a role to play for posterity to judge us rightly for every action we take now. Machona Kasambala, reporting for ZNBC from Nais in Samfya.
Lusaka Mayor Makebi Zulu has accused the opposition UPND of being sponsored by foreign dissidents to frustrate the ongoing constitutional reforms. But UPND Deputy Spokesperson Cornelius Muitwa has distanced his party from such schemes. Mr. Zulu, who is also Eastern Province Minister, says there has been a lot of resistance to Constitution Amendment Bill number 10 among some UPND members of Parliament because of being pushed by their leader owing to foreign interests sponsoring them. He, however, notes that some MPs like Professor Geoffrey Lungwangwa have risen above propaganda because they see the positive aspects of Bill 10. Speaking during the PF Interactive Forum in Lusaka today, Mr. Zulu also wondered why the UPND is not talking about other clauses in the bill which emphasize on Zambia being a Christian nation, thereby discouraging foreign acts such as homosexuality. And PF Media Director Sunday Chanda said the report alleging involvement of President Edgar Lungu and his daughter Tassila in the illegal exports of Mukula trees is part of the UPND propaganda aimed at tarnishing the image of the head of state. He charged that part of the UPND propaganda strategy is to collapse the financial markets and trigger a regime change. Mr. Chanda said Zambians will see a lot of propaganda messages against President Lungu and government ahead of the 2021 general elections. Meanwhile, Deputy PF Media Director Antonio Mwanza demanded that UPND MPs walking out of Parliament should also boycott allowances because they are not taking part in debates which they're elected to undertake.
I don't like mentioning this name because it appears as though we're always talking about Lusaka and Ichilema, but it's true. He's been held captive by some organizations where he undertook to say his members of parliament would not participate. It's for that reason that when the NDF was on and others went to participate, he was approached, of course, by these organizations that refused to participate to say, look, your members of parliament are attending this thing, and we agreed that we wouldn't attend. What's going on? We promised to rectify that particular position. But this time around, there's a lot more resistance.
We want citizens to follow through this argument that it's not just politics as usual. As we build up towards 2021, we are going to see a lot of desperation from the UPND and from Sakande Hichilema. Part of their strategy, and this strategy is going to come from outside this country, is that they are going to they'll continue to place false and fake stories aimed at attacking the credibility of the president in the international media.
So for all those members of parliament from UPND who walk out of parliament when they're supposed to debate, we demand that they should stop getting allowances because they get sitting allowances to go to parliament. So if you don't sit in parliament and debate, you have no moral right or legal right to be collecting an allowance you have not worked for.
Point of correction there, Lusaka lawyer Makebi Zulu. Continuing with the news, when contacted for a comment, UPND Deputy Spokesperson Cornelius Mwitwa distanced his party from any propaganda against the president using some international platforms on demands for UPND MPs to stop getting allowances after walking out of Parliament. Mr. Mwitwa said people making such demands are aliens to the rules of Parliament. He also stated that his party is not entirely against all contents of Bill 10 and admitted that it has several progressive clauses which are, however, outweighed by the negative ones. Lusaka Province Minister Bowman Lusambo has urged citizens to desist from putting the name of the first family into disrepute. Mr. Lusambo says accusations linking the first family are false and merely meant to tarnish the image of the president and government. He says there is a well-calculated agenda to falsely accuse the PF of corruption so that Zambians can vote for another political party. Mr. Lusambo told ZNBC News that Zambians should expect more accusations against President Lungu from a named opposition party and its foreign funders ahead of the 2021 general elections.
For a period of politics in our country, we had one in 2016 and we have one in 2021. But between the 2016 and 2021, we need to give time to development. We need to develop the country. We can't just be politicking each and every day. That's why we are saying the president is busy seeing how we are going to develop the country, the unprecedented development which we are seeing not only here in Lusaka but the entire country.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ will tomorrow hold the provincial delimitation sittings for Lusaka province. ECZ Public Relations Manager Margaret Chimanse says the sittings will take place from the 9th to the 10th of December 2019 at Mulungushi International Conference Center. Ms. Chimanse says during the sittings, the Delimitation Commission will receive delimitation proposals from all districts in the province. She said this in a statement issued to ZNBC in Lusaka today. Now, President Edgar Lungu has challenged the church to venture in income-generating activities like agriculture so as to attend to the needs of their people. President Lungu says this will allow the church to provide services such as education and health. The head of state said this in a speech read for him in Lusaka today by National Guidance and Religious Affairs Minister Godfrida Sumaili during the launch of the new evangelical church in Zambia. And ECZ Deputy Bishop Reverend John Muyutu thanked the president for the financial assistance during the construction of the church. Reverend Bishop Muyutu said the president's support to the church demonstrates his dedication to the promotion of Zambia as a Christian nation.
You are also providing education. You are in community development. You are among the people. And you are doing so much in other areas of human endeavor. This is in addition to the ecclesiastical mandate of preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. I dare you to continue to be the light of the world and the salt of the earth.
A big heart to accommodate the life of the paralyzed man. And we need a big heart. Number two, they had a big head. They were very hopeful that once this man is able-bodied, he shall support his family. He shall become beneficial. They believe that things are going to come up. We need a big head to trust that God is able to do like But number three, they had a big hand. Only big hands are generous enough to sacrifice their time.
Joma Central Member of Parliament Cornelius Muitwa has called for coexistence between political party cadres. Mr. Muitwa wondered why political party cadres are in the habit of fighting when their leaders do not do so. He said this during the building promotion for the new church structure at the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Joma. Here's a report.
The church plays an important role in promoting peace and unity in communities and the nation at large. This was the case at Swan Seventh-day Adventist Church, which held a building promotion to raise funds for the completion of its new structure. The event brought together people from all walks of life with a common goal of constructing the church building. Southern Province Permanent Secretary Mangala Liomba officiated at the event.
The government is happy to partner with the church in what you are doing in so many areas. Look at the school that is here. And I'm told there are a number of other activities that you are bringing to this place. And all that is aimed at alleviating the sufferings of the people.
Choma Central Member of Parliament Cornelius Muitwa is happy with the peace and cordial relationship between his party and government in Southern Province.
We, the members of Parliament of the Southern Province, we enjoy working with you. Here in Choma, we live as one. There is no PF here. There is no UPND here. He is a member of Central Committee of the PF, but he is one of my best friends here.
Earlier in his sermon, Choma East Mission District Pastor Ferdinand Shingalidi emphasized the need for unity and tolerance.
We have people who don't talk to each other. If we don't talk to each other, if we have groups and levels in church, the world will doubt the God we worship.
Also in attendance were Patriotic Front member of the Central Committee, Kebimbewe, the Choma Deputy Mayor, and some councillors. A total of about 93,000 kwacha was raised from the donations and pledges towards the building project. Runia Sakala, Zanis, and Choma.
Tourism and Arts Minister Ronald Chitotela says government will embrace the type of political leadership which promotes prayer and national unity. Mr. Chitotela says this is because unity is key to national development. He said this when he handed over 50,000 kwacha, which has been donated by President Edgar Lungu to United Church of Zambia, UCZ, St. Mark's Congregation Choir of Lusaka. Now the funds will go towards the purchase of a bus for the church choir. Meanwhile, St. Mark's choir patron Nicodemus Mwazia thanked President Lungu for the support.
That's why I want to emphasize that the spirit of giving, it is a spiritual gift that comes from God. And if you have somebody like President Edgar Lungu that will go upon you, will respond. We must not take it for granted that everybody can do that, because that's a gift that comes from God. I'm speaking this like this because I'm speaking to St. Mike. And when I delivered the message, His Excellency the President positively responded because I'm a messenger, and that's why I'm making it publicly. He responded and he has contributed a 50,000 kwacha cash towards the
St. Mark's congregation, more especially as St. Mark's Church choir. We are so grateful. If you're feeling my as a messenger and a family, me as a messenger, but you'll be able to write just to say thank you. In the name of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit,
We are very grateful as a choir. Firstly, that this donation has come at a time when we didn't expect it. And we can only pray that it goes to do what it has been donated to do. We have a big project to basically buy a bus.
You're watching ZNBC Main News. We take our first commercial break, but do stay tuned for more stories after that. Well, thank you for still staying with us, and now for the rest of the news. Water levels at the Victoria Falls in Livingston this morning started showing signs of increasing. Now, this has excited tourists and workers at the World Heritage Site that has been attracting international media attention in the recent past, following reports that it might dry up due to climate change. Lakson Tani has a report.
A week ago, the Victoria Falls were almost completely dry and attracted international media attention. These are the sounds and sights that have brought joy to people who love the Victoria Falls for business or leisure. Sharon Maseka, an attendant at the Victoria Falls World Heritage Site, has welcomed the overnight increase of water levels that have started covering the bare rocks.
Actually, when we reported this morning, we just heard the sound or the noise of the mighty Victoria Falls, and we were so excited that we rushed inside as employees just to see how the water started flowing back.
The resurrection of the falls has also excited the chairperson of the Livingstone Tourism Association, Rodin Sikumba, though he loves the Victoria Falls, whether full of water or empty.
I was here 7 days ago. The site here was not what you see today. What we have today is the curtain slowly making formation.
Julia Pierini, the Chief Executive Officer of BirdLife Zimbabwe, has tips on how to guarantee that the Victoria Falls remains wet.
The catchment areas in northern Zambia, we need to look what is happening in that area, protect those areas, because that will impact what's happening here at the falls.
From Kenya with liquid love is Viengi Mwenja, who believes that he has brought the solution that has begun filling up the Victoria Falls with water.
I came from Kenya where we're experiencing a lot of flooding. They're saying that I came from Kenya with a lot of rains, and today, actually yesterday when I arrived here, it rained. So I brought some of the rain from Kenya.
With or without the magic rains from Kenya, the Livingstone Tourism Association is eager to market the different moods of the Victoria Falls as a World Heritage Site that is always filled with adventure. The Victoria Falls dies every year when the water levels in the Zambezi River are low. The Tokalea people call it Shungumufu when it is dry, meaning the dead falls. But it always comes back to life. And already it is coming back to life. And the local people call it Shungu Namtitima, meaning the smoke that thunders. And soon it will start thundering. Lakson Tani, ZNBC News, Livingstone.
Well, thank you, Laxon. That indeed is exciting news. Now, the Millers Association of Zambia, MAZ, has called for the implementation of a tripartite deal which will help us stabilize mealie meal prices on the market. MAZ President Andrew Chintala says his association wants to work with the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, and Grain Traders Association of Zambia to help stabilize mealie meal prices. He told ZNBC News in Lusaka that President Edgar Lungu has in the past few weeks been worried over the increase in the price of mealie meal on the market. Mr. Chintala said it is unfortunate that those with maize have lately been offloading and selling it in US dollars on the market, thereby pushing maize prices upwards.
It's a very high risk for a miller to buy maize and store it in anticipation of higher prices in the future, because really you cannot afford to switch off your machine even for a day when you've got the raw material, because it's expensive to switch off even for 48 hours. This is why we've said, look, even in the wake of load shedding, I think our industry has been hit badly, and I wish to take that opportunity also to commend most of the millers that have decided to venture or to make further investments into gensets.
94% of the targeted farmers have received government-subsidized inputs in Eastern Province. Eastern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Josephat Lombe says the farmers are happy that government has delivered inputs on time. Mr. Lombe said this when he briefed First Lady Esther Lungu shortly after she arrived in Petauke District. Here's a report.
First Lady Esther Lungu has arrived in Petauke District of Eastern Province, where she is scheduled to meet traditional leaders and donate medical supplies to 3 rural health centers. On arrival, the First Lady was received by Eastern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Josephat Lombe and several district heads of departments. And Mr. Lombe has announced that 94% of the farmers in the region have already received government-subsidized farming inputs.
So meaning that most of the farmers, as at now, they have agricultural inputs.
and they are ready now to go to the farms. We are only remaining with 6%.
District Health Director Riches Sibwalo briefed the First Lady on maternal deaths and other health-related issues.
As a district, we've had to make significant strides in ensuring that we buy into our National Health Strategic Plan of reducing maternal mortality from 200,000 to 100,000 by 2021.
Mrs. Lungu outlined her mission to the province.
I'm here for two main programs, one in Petauke and one in Katete. Like the DPS has already alluded to, for Petauke, we are doing a medical outreach program to beef up the medical equipment in our health centers. These are in chiefdoms of Nyampande, Kalindawalo, and probably Mombi.
The First Lady also visited District Commissioner Velenas Moyo, who recently lost her father. Shupekile Nkonika for the news in Petauke, Eastern Province.
Local Government Minister Charles Banda has directed the Kalulushi Municipal Council to ensure marketeers who are trading at Musamba Primary School grounds do not make their stay permanent. Dr. Banda said made the directive when he visited the makeshift market in Kalulushi. Here's a report.
They go on with their business, not worried about the weather. These traders are right inside the school grounds for Masamba Primary School in Kalulushi. Some of them have been trading here for years. Others came here when the Kalulushi Municipal Council started building a modern market in the area. Local Government Minister Charles Banda has visited the school grounds and is not happy.
But what should stay in them very, very clear is that they are outside here temporarily. We should not have problems when time comes to move them to get back. So the only assurance we can give is that you as the council and ourselves as the ministry have to find the resources, make the resources available, the market to be done so that we normalize the situation.
The local authority has an explanation on the presence of these traders here.
Inayo ini ground ya bambi. Pafire pava buffer zone ile langa, ina ibera, ina yona ibera. Boundary. Mkwaye. Then hapana pafire papito msebo in case kwa bomuliro refiri fyonse fyachitika. Musebo ufire wachitashani, ufire wabako.
Some of the traders have even built permanent structures in the school grounds. This is what is raising concern, as the traders may refuse to move in future. Paul Sharara, ZNBC News in Kalulushi.
We take another break. Don't go away. And now for the rest of the news. Government has evacuated one of the Mpulungu shooting victims to the University Teaching Hospital in Lusaka for specialized treatment. Dianse Mwambazi, who is one of the 6 Patriotic Front members who were shot at by suspected UPND cadres. The victims were shot as they were celebrating their victory in one of the local government by-elections, which was held in Mpulungu. Mr. Mwambazi sustained 9 bullet wounds from the shooting and was admitted to Mbala General Hospital before being airlifted to Lusaka. Pulungu District Commissioner Dennis Sikazwe and his Mbala counterpart Kedrick Sikombe witnessed the evacuation. The district commissioners have thanked President Edgar Lungu for facilitating the evacuation yesterday. Northern Province Police Commissioner Richard Mwene announced that police arrested 4 UPND cadres in connection with the shootings and slapped them with various charges, among them attempted murder. Now, Tourism and Arts Minister Ronald Chitotela has urged his Zambians to appreciate and support local artists. Mr. Chitotela says Zambians should start supporting local artists the same way they do with international artists. He said this last evening when he graced the Ngoma Awards at Mulungushi International Conference Center in Lusaka. Speaking at the same event, National Arts Council Chairperson Patrick Samwimbila said artists should beat their own drum by supporting and promoting themselves. During the event, several artists were awarded with various categories. Among them is Monde Mutale, popularly known as Mr. Nguzu, who won the Most Outstanding Media Artist Award, while Anita Monga scooped the Best Female Media Artist Award, among others.
Excellency President Edgar Chagwa recognizes the importance of the art in the industry, and indeed he would want to promote it and honor it. This is the time that we need to use the art, we need to use the artist and the culture in the promotion of our local tourism, because everything we have the wildlife. A tourist can go to Kenya, he can see the elephant, but the culture and the art that we have in Zambia is peculiar to Zambia only.
I would want to be thankful and grateful to His Excellency, the Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, who set the tone this year at the beginning of the year when he accepted to become the champion of the Arts 2019. The arts will now, and I have no doubt the arts will now enjoy its fair share of respect, honor, and position in the national affairs.
In sports news, Anako Football Club has played out to a 1-1 draw against RS Berkane of Morocco in their third game of the CAF Confederations Cup group stage. Zanako remain in third spot in Group B, 3 points behind table leaders RS Berkane and 1 behind Motemo in second. RS Berkane striker Aladdin Ajare opened the scoring in the first few minutes of the match to stun Zanako on home soil. Zanako, who were cheered on by President Edgar Lungu, pushed for an equalizer and got one in the 23rd minute. Charles Zulu timed his run to perfection and beat RS Berkane keeper Zuhair Laroubi with a powerful header. Now, Laroubi was the hero of Berkane in the second half as he denied Charles Zulu from point-blank range. Now, both teams missed several chances to grab the 3 points late in the game, which was filled with controversy. Well, we take a break right now, but do join us later. Well, thank you so much for watching. This is where we end the news. Good night and God bless.